Shadows of Ambition.
A few years ago, in the middle of the mountains of Caquetá, there was a town where there lived a mayor named Antonio, who was well liked by the residents thanks to his charisma and authority. However, he was also a very ambitious person who was obsessed with the seeking of power because his wife, Cecilia, had long wanted something bigger for her husband. She wanted to have a higher status within the region. One night, Antonio was walking along a path. He stopped when he saw that at the side of the road there were three people who were dressed in a strange way. Since they were wearing traditional dresses but in dark and worn out colors, and they were doing a ritual around the bonfire. When Antonio observed this, he decided to continue on his way. But one of the women said in a loud voice, Antonio, you are a mayor now, but soon you will be something more. You will rule over the region of Caquetá. But to do so, you will have to defy the law and all those around you. After hearing the woman's vision, Antonio quickly returned home to tell Cecilia what had happened. She was excited by the vision and told him.
If the governorship is your destiny, don't wait until it arrives. You must take it yourself.
She told him in an ambitious tone because she was a calculating, reading, and manipulative woman. Quickly, this idea pleased Antonio because he was very much interested in being the new governor of the region. As the days passed, Antonio became obsessed with the idea of becoming governor. He felt that everyone around him was a problem on his way to power, especially Luis, who was the current governor, Antonio's childhood friend and the one who opened the doors to the world of politics. All the time, Antonio thought about the prediction of those women on the road and planned different ways to get Luis out of the way. But this prediction also had Cecilia upset, so she created a whole plan to get Luis out of her way forever. She decided that the best thing to do was to eliminate Luis. According to Cecilia's plan, Antonio had to invite Luis to his house in the countryside because it was a place away from the city in order to continue with the strategy to disappear Luis once and for all. For this, Antonio and Luis drank all night until they got drunk. When Luis couldn't even stand up, Cecilia would take the opportunity to poison Luis, and so it happened. Between Antonio and Cecilia killed Luis.
With the way clear in a short time, Antonio became the new governor because Cecilia brought a false document that considered of Luis leaving a document where he said that Antonio would be the temporary governor in case of an accident, and that was who Antonio obtained the temporary position until the new elections. At the beginning, everything was going very well. Antonio obtained the political power he had wanted so much, but he began to feel affected by the crime that Cecilia and he had committed to the point that little by little he was falling into dementia. He felt all the time that Luis appeared in his office or meetings where he used to talk in his ear. He saw him especially in his country because it was the place where he was murdered, and he says that her voice in the hallways of the house. Cecilia tried to calm him down, saying that it was a product of imaginations and the stress of being governor, but their words didn't don't help. As every day he was consumed by paranoia, Antonio began to distrust everyone who worked with him because he thought they knew what he had done. He was afraid of Mateo because he was the right hand and the successor of Felicia Campari, to which Luis was a member. He also asked him many questions about the deed of the Luis as if he destroyed Antonio. So he talked to Cecilia and they decide that the best thing to do was to kill him.
Mateo is planning something against me. We must do something about it.
Said Antonio, costumed by the fear of being discovered. We will fake a traffic accident on a very road to kill him, answered Cecilia, with a firm tone and completely determined to execute the plan. That was how Mateo died in strange circumstances, but instead of distracting Antonio's attention, it raised more suspicion among the mayors of these other cities of Caqueta like Pablo, Enrique, and Jose, who decided to investigate how the deaths of Mateo and Luis were related. Everything pointed of that Antonio had something to do with these crimes, but Pablo doubted that really because he knew Antonio since school. As the case progressed, Antonio became more and more crazy, so hid in the country house where it all began. Antonio reached such as an extreme of dementia that he felt Pablo was also going to betray him. Everybody thought he was close, almost loyal, friendly, so he gave the order to Javier, his right hand man, to kill him as well. As so didn't, Javier crashed Mateo a car into the tree and left a bottle next to him to make it look like he was drunk. No knowing what else to Antonio ran away to his house in this countryside, but during the night he could not sleep because he heard these voices of ghosts of Liz, Pablo, and Mateo that did not allow him the rest. He also heard some female voices that sound very familiar to him.
Antonio, you are the mayor now, but soon you will be something more. You will rule over the region of Caqueta, but to do so, you will have to define the law and everyone around you. However, when you are at the highest point of your role, you will fall down because of your ambition and greed. You will never be able to get up again.
The next morning, a mysterious man appears at Antonio's house, who was watching the investigation of Mateo's death because he was his best friend. This man's name was Alejandro. He was talking for a long time with Antonio, and they go for a walk in the garden of the house. And in a distant place, Alejandro takes out a gun and kills Antonio, leaving the gun in his hand to pass it off as a suicide. Quickly, the news of the apparent suicide spread around Caqueta. When the new elections come, Alejandro became a candidate with the support of the leaders Jose and Enrique. That way he won and became the new governor. On the other hand, the story of the everything that Antonio did become known and become a bad premonition for all those who had a deep obsession with being powerful and wanting to take over the region at the point of betrayal and death.